Now, there's been times at Trainual, I think I've shot a video on this in the past, where I've said we have an unlimited marketing budget. And I know from from a finance perspective, you don't like unlimited budgets for anything. But can we talk through just a little bit of the investment versus expense mindset and how it could be true in some businesses to have an unlimited budget for some areas?
In our business, in software, most companies that grow to be big, successful software companies have had to raise money at some point. And the reason they have to raise money is because it takes a long time to build software. And historically, when you build a software custom for a company and you go install it on-prem and you'd have to keep it updated, like those companies were paying millions of dollars a year for that software. But being able to, as software as a service, charge so little for your software, it's going to take some time before you can become profitable. So you have to raise money along the way. But there are certain financial metrics, especially in the SaaS world, where you can know that you're on track and that you're building a healthy company. A lot of these are called unit economics. So what does it cost you to acquire a customer? How much do they pay you? And how long is it going to take you to repay the cost to acquire that customer? And then what's the lifetime value of that customer? What's the estimated lifetime value of that customer? Are they going to pay you more over time? Are they going to churn and only be with you for a few months? And if you can understand those, then you can set these unlimited budgets saying, well, we know that if we acquire a customer for $1,000 and they pay us $100 a month, that we will pay back that cost to acquire them in 10 months. And we know that on average, they stay with us for 5 years. If we can do that, then our marketing budget is unlimited. We can spend as much as we want because while we may lose a little bit of money in the short term, we're building a huge business for the future because the unit economics makes sense.
And let me give
don't make sense. No unlimited marketing budget.
Yeah. Let me give an even simpler example, a non-software example. Let's just imagine that you had like a bakery and you could stand out on the street and offer people $1 to come into your bakery. And anybody that you hand $1 to, they come into the bakery and on average, they spend $5. They buy some muffins or cupcakes or whatever. And you did it all day and you handed out dollars and they bought and you saw that you've got that same 1-to-5 kind of ratio. Now imagine that you exhausted all of the people that are walking through the streets, but then you could start advertising on Facebook or something, the same kind of dollar, and people spend $5 on your website and you plus shipping and you make the same sort of equation. And now you've got this massive pool of customers that still you can acquire profitably. They come in, they buy your product or service, and you come out ahead on that transaction. In those scenarios, that's what you're saying, Drew, that you kind of have an unlimited budget to invest in acquisition until you start to see those unit economics changing. And I think a lot of businesses are not clear on those unit economics. And, even I'll give another example in my consulting firm. When people would come in and spend $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 on consulting services, and they found out about me through a referral, and I wasn't coming out of pocket on, on Google ads or something, you kind of just can't even compute what your cost of acquisition is. And so I had to really work at this, but I started tallying up the time I was spending networking, going to coffees, whatever. What portion of my salary is that time that I'm spending? Any kind of materials that I'm printing or handing out or sending to people. I had a book that was up on my website. Like, you include that in your cost of acquisition. It's content that you're creating. And so you can get creative, but everyone that's listening needs to somehow figure out, what am I spending to get customers and what are they paying my business over their lifetime with us, to start to dial in that metric. And if you have a healthy metric, then you can really turn up your marketing. I had a friend that used to put together these like gift baskets, and he realized that if he put together a gift basket that cost him about $100 and dropped them off at 10 different ideal customers, he would get 1 out of those 10 to buy with his business. So 1 out of those 10 people it would cost him $1,000 in these baskets, but then they'd end up spending something like $25,000 at his business. And so he said, I'm just going to give these out all day to everyone. And his business skyrocketed to millions in revenue because he figured that out. And so this is something that I think plays into forecasting, because you need to understand those unit economics. And then you test them at different assumptions. You say, can I do this with 10 customers, with 100 customers, and watch how they change?
Yep. Yeah. Watching how they change is key, right? Because those unit economics may not scale at the same rate. So that the first few customers at your bakery are going to come in without you giving them $1, right? And they might spend the most. They might spend $10 each.
Yeah.
And so then you start spending to get them into the bakery, but those aren't spending as much. And if you were to go too high, then you're just going to get people taking dollars or taking the free samples and not spending anything. So understanding that is like the key to the unit economic discussion. How does that scale, and where are you spending money most efficiently?